G'day YouTube, Rob again, doing another video for you, obviously. Today I'm doing my end of the month of May, pretty sure it's May, DVD Blu-ray update. Just some stuff that I bought recently and some stuff I've watched and some stuff I haven't watched. I think I watched most of it, I think, at some point. Might have been, 10 years ago or something, but anyway. Yeah, so we'll get started. I think the first, what we've got, 4 or 5 are just from a second-hand store which I went to I think last week and just found some sort of cheap bargains, so I sort of picked them up. Alright, so we'll get into it. First one's actually a TV show. It's a show that I should sort of watch a few years ago when it was on. 8 Simple Rules. Really sort of funny and sort of fun show that I used to really enjoy watching. It's got some big stars. It's got John Ritter in it. I think he died a few years after it was made, though. You got Kathy Siegel. She's obviously out of Married with Children, and she does the voice in the Futurama TV show. You got Kaylee Kauku? I think that's how you pronounce it. Pretty sure that's right. Obviously, Penny out of Big Bang Theory. They got Amy Davidson, which I think I was also a fan of her. Compared to, obviously I think she was supposed to be more the hotter one, I suppose, but I was a fan of this one here, Amy. Well, I can't remember her name in the TV show. Yeah, it's a really great sort of fun show, really sort of funny if you want to remember. I think this is just series 1, but it's like 3 discs. I normally try and buy the whole complete set if I'm going to buy a TV show, but this will, I don't know, I just want to watch it, and it was very cheap, so I might give it a watch, revisit it. Perhaps I might track down the other seasons if I feel like watching more of it. So that's that. This one's an Australian movie classic from 1994, Muriel's Wedding. I have sort of seen this film, perhaps probably in the late 90s when it sort of came out, and so I can't remember all that much about it. But it was a very big hit in Australia when it came out. And I'm pretty sure overseas as well. I don't know all that much about it. I can't remember much about it. It stars Toni Collette, I think, in her sort of breakout film role. This is where she sort of became famous, sort of after sort of making this film. I don't know if you sort of, we can just sort of check this one out and see what it's like, because I can't remember all that much about it. This one's a sort of an animated movie, sort of an obscure one which I've never sort of heard of, and just sort of pick up to sort of see what it was like. It's called Stellaluna, which I did sort of watch it the other day. I think it's only like a 41-minute sort of movie, or what do you want to call it. It's actually sort of about Stellaluna. She's like a fruit bat, and she's sort of she's a baby basically, and her mum and her sort of go out hunting for food one night, and she sort of gets dropped by accident sort of into the forest and gets lost, type thing. She sort of spends the rest of the movie, she sort of lands with these birds, and so she thinks she must be a bird, so she's sort of trying to act like a bird, and sort of realizes that she's a bit different, and sort of about discovery, I suppose, of they're finding out that she is actually a fruit bat. She's not really a bird, type thing. I thought it was actually pretty good. It's not necessarily an original storyline idea to it, but I thought it was sort of well done. Good sort of animation in it, and a few sort of kiddie songs in there. But I thought it was, for what it was, I thought it was pretty good. So that's that. Next one is a horror classic from 1968. I didn't realise it was actually quite that old. It's called Rosemary's Baby with Mia Farrow. Now, I had sort of seen this one before. I did sort of hear it was a classic basically. So I did sort of watch it many years ago. And didn't think all that much of it, to be honest. I remember it sort of being a bit weird and a bit sort of freaky, I suppose, in certain respects. But I thought I might. It's only like $4, so I thought I might give it another watch, and I don't mind that sort of the cover art too. I think that's actually quite nice as well. It's a very sort of thin case too. So I'm about just giving that another watch and see what it's like. a film that I sort of wanted to pick up for quite a while. Speed, starring Keanu Reeves, Sandra Bullock, and Dennis Hopper. Yeah, I've sort of seen it before a long time ago, perhaps, back in the 90s when I think it was another 94 movie, yeah, when it came out in 94. But yeah, I thought it was a good sort of fun movie. I also did watch it the other day and thought it was pretty good. Nice sort of actions to it, and basically, obviously, people know the premise is, I suppose, but the premise is basically there's a bus, and the bus can't go below 50 miles an hour, or whatever it is. Otherwise, the bomb's going to explode on the bus and kill the people on the bus. I can't talk. And obviously, Keanu Reeves is the hero of the movie, type thing, and but I thought it was the acting was pretty good. Apart from, Keanu Reeves is sort of the best actor. He was pretty bad in Point Break, which I watched the other day, and his acting, was a bit better in this one. But it's still a bit off in certain scenes. I thought Sandra Bullock was really good, and Dennis Hopper was really good, and all the supporting actors were all pretty good. Good sort of film. If you haven't sort of seen it, definitely worth a check out. Good sort of 90s action flick. Next one, these are all brand new ones, which I just sort of bought. Not too sure if I've sort of showed this one or not. Got Men in Black 3, which I did sort of go to the cinema watch, and did sort of enjoy for the most part. I think there's a few bits in it I didn't necessarily care for. I didn't like the end all that much, but I have sort of don't mind the first two. This one's was a good sort of sequel, I thought. I need to perhaps give it another watch. I haven't sort of watched it since it sort of came out in the cinema, but I thought it was a decent sort of film, I thought. So that's that. Okay, so the final film is a film that I've sort of heard a lot of really good things about, and a lot of people have been recommending it, and I have sort of heard the premise to it, and sort of sounded like a really sort of interesting movie, so I sort of wanted to check it out. Movie's called Shame, from 2011, directed by Steve McQueen. There's the premise just sort of found really interesting. Obviously, Michael Fassbender plays a sort of a sex addict. So I sort of watched the movie, and I sort of it wasn't necessarily quite what I was expecting. I thought it was going to be really sort of gritty and sort of depressing, maybe sort of film about sort of Michael Fassbender being addicted to sex, and basically sort of things that you would sort of get up to, and sort of showing a good good portrayal perhaps of a sex addict type thing. Which I don't know. I don't think we sort of quite got that. I was perhaps expecting too much maybe from it. I thought it was going to be a lot grittier and a lot dirtier. Which the film is. It's an R rating, and there's a lot of nudity, both male and female, and some very sort of confronting scenes in it. But maybe just some ways I was disappointed it wasn't quite as gritty as I thought it was going to be. But having sort of said that, I really did like the film. I thought once I sort of got over the fact that it wasn't quite what I was expecting type thing, I really did enjoy it. A lot of people sort of said it's a sort of boring film that doesn't really go anywhere, which I don't know, sort of see, I suppose. But I sort of kind of like that. The film, you don't really know quite what's going to happen next, and we don't really necessarily know the backstory of Michael Fassbender and his sister. She's another sort of main character in the film, played by Carey Mulligan. Carey Mulligan. We don't necessarily know their backstory, sort of their childhood or anything. We sort of get sort of hints of what of the childhood, and their sort of their relationship, I suppose, and the whole film sort of some ways sort of building up, and I was sort of expecting some sort of big sort of gritty conclusion type thing, which I sort of I don't want to spoil anything. We do sort of get a conclusion, obviously, a sort of conclusion to it type thing, but it was sort of building up, and I guess the film wasn't necessarily going anywhere, which I can sort of see some people sort of saying. But having sort of said that, I did like enjoy the fact that we didn't really know quite what was didn't quite know what was going to happen next, and the film was a bit sort of ambiguous or a bit open to interpretation on certain things that were sort of happening, which I thought was you know, really good. I mean, don't necessarily have sort of, you know, don't necessarily need to be sort of spoon-fed, do we, all the time. And a lot of great sort of shots to it. A lot of scenes where it's just sort of one camera angle. You know, sort of there's a scene where Kerry Mulligan's sort of singing a song, and there's the whole scene's just on one shot, just on her face singing this, you know, 5-minute song, whatever it is. And there's a lot of sort of scenes like that where it's just sort of kind of like Drive, maybe, I suppose, with this sort of not much dialogue, but there's a lot of sort of silence, in, you know, in sort of some ways. And also reminded me of the film American Psycho. It's a very sort of similar sort of theme, I suppose, but similar sort of way it was sort of the film sort of plays out. It's very sort of, you're not really quite sure what's happening, and a bit sort of ambiguous and a bit, you know, open to interpretation, you know, type thing. But definitely a film that I definitely perhaps wouldn't mind watching again. Definitely a film you sort of, a lot of little things you perhaps might miss the first time. And I just, yeah, I mean, seriously, I thought it was a really good film. Not necessarily up to everyone's taste, because people have said it's a bit, you know, boring and doesn't go anywhere. But I just sort of loved the realistics to it. It was really realistic, and the way, you know, sort of not necessarily your sort of Hollywood sort of packaged, you know, movie type thing. I mean, there's sort of a sex scene in this where it's sort of it's very much there's a lot of sort of foreplay in that scene. There's a lot of sort of building up, and it's like a proper real sort of sex scene which you'd sort of have with your wife, or, you know, type thing. It wasn't all Hollywood sort of, you know, 2-minute, you know, 50 seconds of foreplay and then into the sex type thing. It was more a sort of building up and type thing. Yeah. But I just found that really sort of realistic, and really the whole movie was very real, and you know, sort of in some ways perhaps that's why the film's sort of a bit sort of, I don't know, perhaps not, I don't know, perhaps use the word aimless, but sort of just sort of slow burning, doesn't really quite go anywhere, you know, which is what, you know, life's about, not necessarily having all this, you know, fantasy things happening all the time. I mean, Gerard sort of times when it was very boring, your life can be very boring type thing, if that sort of makes sense. But yeah, I thought it was definitely a great film, and I really did enjoy watching it. Very sort of realistic in some respects. Yeah, so that's that. I don't want to perhaps go on too much with that, but I really did enjoy that one. That's what I'm trying to say. Yes, that's my just sort of almost a bit of a quick update, just some stuff that I have sort of managed to watch. I do have plenty more stuff which I've bought and just haven't had time to watch. I've been very busy with work recently, and one of the main people works on holidays, and some people just don't turn up for work. I've had a bit of that recently. So I've been fairly busy, you know, trying to cover other people and trying to do my job. And anyway, that's why I've been, yeah, haven't done many videos, I suppose. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. If you've seen any of these movies, you know, please leave me a comment. Tell me your thoughts on it. Yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you very soon with another video. Bye.